Today on Built, we're working on something from across the pond, but it's not this thing. It's a little bit bigger and wider. Welcome back to the #1 Land Rover channel on YouTube. Today, because of the dreary weather, I decided it was time to start the newest British car project, and that is the one directly behind me. Now, if you're from the States, it's likely you don't even know what this is. Maybe it looks a little bit familiar, but it is, I believe, a 1995 Defender 110. Now, this is made by Land Rover. We didn't get very many, if any, of these in the States, but I have a buddy who runs a company called STA Imports, and he imports these things along with a lot of old school Toyotas and stuff that are very cool. And he asked me if I would do some customization to this one for the client. So we're gonna be doing that today, and I'm really excited about it because it's gonna be, honestly, knock on wood, pretty easy.
Knock on wood, pretty easy.
We've got parts that are supposed to bolt on. They're made for this car, which is rare on Built. And I'm just gonna take a day to customize a car, maybe 2 days, to customize a car, to have fun doing it, and just take a break from solving really hard, difficult problems. And in the process, we're gonna make an already cool car even cooler. The first step on this build, like most, is a new set of wheels and tires. The Steelies are not cutting it anymore. Battery's dead. Man, I can't win for losing. One of the weird things about Rovers is they use a really wide 5-bolt pattern, and the lug nuts are huge, like 27 millimeter or something crazy. So not a lot of aftermarket wheels. I think these things are gonna look sick. Let's put them on. Big boys. Lug nuts, they're the wrong ones. I need some like the factory has, not these. These will just tear up our very nice, very new wheels. So we will have to wait. But for you guys, that's just like right now. For you guys, that's just like right now. New day, new lug nuts. I pulled 2, 4, 6, 8 lug nuts off of the Range Rover I'm working on to test them out with this, and they do fit the wheels that we bought. So I ordered some new ones of these, special Land Rover only lug nut with a washer thing for this, but I want to go ahead and put these wheels on, so we're going to go ahead and do that with just 2 lug nuts on each wheel. We're not driving it on the road, it's just to get the wheels on. When the lug nuts come in, we'll move them over. It'll be fine. New day, still rainy, so we still get to work on British cars. You ready? No, don't cry. That's real close. You go up a little bit. Come here. Come see me. You're your brother. Yeah. He said done. Oh man. Hey. Hello. Say hello. Hello. Where are you going? Ah. Yeah. What? These are the hardest wheels to put on ever. Why are they so difficult? I don't understand. There are better ways, Coops. Better ways. so difficult to put two lug nuts on. Hate these cars. Don't lie.
Knock on wood, pretty easy.
There are easier, better ways. Land Rover. It's starting to feel a little bit treacherous out here. We were getting some thunderstorm warnings, so I think I'm going to call it. And I'm tired of getting rained on. The back wheels don't fit. I'm not surprised. It's not a big deal. It's just spacers. So I'll order some spacers and get those in. I was going to go ahead and pull the brush guard off, but I promise my feet aren't that dirty. It's the leather. It's the leather. The rain stopped, so I'm back at it, shoeless. The next job I have for this thing is to remove this brush guard. We're just going to take the whole thing off. The owner of the car doesn't really like it and wants the front end to be clearly visible, and I agree. I think the front end of these cars is really cool, and so we should be able to just pull this off. Now it's really thick. I'm not really sure how heavy it is. I think it looks good. I really like the no brush guard look a lot better than with the brush guard. You can kind of see the design more. This car has a lot of straight edges. That's what makes it look so cool, is all the boxiness, very industrial, military kind of style. And that is really shown when you pull the brush guard off and show the design of the front end. Now, we did run into some issues with the wheels. The rear wheels hit the spring perches, and actually the passenger wheel hits the exhaust. Exhaust, not that big of a deal. We can reroute it, whatever. But the spring perches, big deal. So I'm gonna have to find some wheel spacers to push them out, maybe 10 millimeters, just to get them away from the perches so that we can drive it. So the back's still got the steelies, but the wheels in the front fit really great. We are waiting on those, and we're waiting on lug nuts. So I'm gonna stop with the wheels for a little while until that stuff comes in. And we're gonna move to the only other thing that I have with me in my possession, and that is a roll cage. We're doing an exterior roll cage on this thing. It's gonna take some cutting and some time, and we are running out of time. So I'm just gonna cut to whenever it is that I do the roll cage, because I just don't think it's gonna be today. I'm tired of getting rained on. Let's go to the roll cage. So I laid the roll cage out. It looks really, really well made, so I'm excited about that. Dirt dragging in the back. It finally works again. So hopefully this will go in pretty well. Now the only thing that I think is a little concerning, maybe not concerning, but the only part that's going to take some time is this. This is a, it's like a cutout in the fender. So you got to cut a pretty big hole. It's this size actually, into the fender so that this sits behind it. This goes down to the chassis. So this is a legitimate roll cage. It will hold up in a rollover. So that's pretty cool. And this is the support for that. But it looks like it just bolts to the fender. Actually, there's this hidden support. So we've got to cut a hole in the fender, and then down at the bottom we have to notch a sheet metal piece so that this can sit down in there and it won't run into anything, basically. So pretty cool. I found a video on doing this online. I will link below if I remember. I'll try to remember. But we're going to go over it really quick. If you are doing this on your Land Rover, if you're thinking about getting one of these kits, I'll show you what to do. I think that it's a lot easier than the directions make it seem. I hope it's a lot easier than the directions make it seem. But first we got to pop the front fenders off, because the first step is going to be to cut the fenders up. This is getting intense. I have about 50 bolts I've removed. I think I'm doing it right. Along with, 30 or 40 rivets. Insane. Just insane. Okay. Let's see. Anytime I get into a situation like this where I'm having to remove a lot of things, all I can think about is the fact that they've all got to go back on. I got to remember where it all goes. So probably just going to do this side, this fender today, get it all the way done today, just for the sake of my brain remembering. I don't think the roll cage part's going to be very hard. It's just getting this fender off. This is easily the most difficult panel I've ever removed. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. It was so difficult for no reason.
Knock on wood, pretty easy.
Oh man, this is a job, dude. Basically what needs to happen is this goes down inside of there. You can see this little piece is going to be in the way. And then on the fender there's another piece that corresponds with that that's also going to be in the way, so we'll cut that out. This drops down into there to give us a lower mounting point. And then this is going to sit on top. One bolt will go through the plate. That will connect to the chassis. And then this sits nicely right in there. Very nice piece. Pretty stoked about that actually. It looks great. All the bolt holes line up perfectly. So basically what we have to do is cut a hole in the fender that corresponds with this, and then that'll just bolt in. These are threaded, so you'll be able to access it from the outside. To get the fender off now, you have to unbolt the roll cage, but that's the least of your worries, I think, if you gotta take the fender off. Right here, there's a spot weld here and there. I assume that's what those are. It's not attached up here at the top, so we should be able to just drill the tops of those and pop it out. There we go, no drama. Now this should drop in. Ooh, that's a tight fit. This is easily the crux of this whole install. Really don't want to mess this up. Luckily, I've had plenty of practice cutting cars. It's the worst part right here. Sandpaper. Body side, we have this piece of sheet metal, which is like a side skirt basically, and this bracket that mounts right there with that factory bolt, but as you can see, this is in the way. I didn't mention, all of these are stamped right and left, which is pretty cool, very convenient, can't mess it up. Oh, steel, and that was painful. Okay, so now we'll just cut that last bit with the Dremel. Alright, now it is finally time for reassembly. To put it in perspective, I started this at 1 o'clock. It is 6:30, so this has taken a good bit of time to get here, and it's just learning the chassis, I guess, but also there's just a lot to do. But we're finally assembling this again. I feel like this part is the hard part. Everything else in the instructions is like 3 instructions after you get past this. This was a lot more than that. But hopefully this will fit in here now. I hope I can get it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in with this mounted, actually. All of that. But if I take that out, I can get a little bit of play. Let's see. What I'm learning about these cars is none of the nuts are captive, which means none of them are welded in place. So there's always a wrench involved. All right, let's see if we can get it in there now. Yep, there we go. That's all we needed. Look at that. I've got my support here. It's bolted on just with the mounting bolts that we'll use when all is said and done. That's what's holding it. Whew, okay, we're all right. Good grief. I hate this car. It's like, not just this car, Land Rover. Land Rover is awful. They make everything so difficult. And I know it's in like the way it's supposed to be done technically, but I can't do it any other way without removing the AC, as far as I can tell, and as far as I can tell on the internet. It's frustrating to me. Very frustrating to me.
We've got bolt-on stuff that should actually bolt on.
Okay, insurance. No, it's not. But man, I'm not gonna go in without a fight. Likely a very, very long, brutal fight. All right, one down. I didn't understand what replaced the spire nuts with the J nuts provided in the bulkhead meant. How could I not? There are some J nuts. I guess there's spire nuts or some sort of nuts in there that have to be replaced so that I can use the longer bolts for the kit. Ready? And up. The bolts are on that picture right there. Yeah, like that.